And yeah, I knew that's who it would be. I asked him to call me back an hour and a half ago. Close. Shut up. Come on, shut up. Okay. So at this time, we will do roll call. Councillor Manzer, Councillor Tudor, Deputy Warden Ross, Councillor Thurber has been excused. She is away. And then our Manager of Corporate Services, Cora Lee, our Manager of Municipal Services, Tyler, our CAO, Jeff, and our Executive Assistant, Pat. So myself, the Warden, we are all here. On saying that, I'd like us now to pause to seek for guidance. And at this time, I will read the mission statement. To provide, promote, or facilitate municipal services that meet the community needs by preserving, supporting, and enhancing quality of life for all. At this point, is there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, I would ask someone to approve the agenda as circulated.
Approve the agenda as circulated.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. There are no delegations or presentations this evening. So the next, is there any errors or omissions of the minutes of January 24th?
I approve of the minutes of January 24th as presented.
Well, I actually had some errors.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, it was in the minutes where it gave highlights. You've got, Matt went to the first opening. It was the Christmas tree opening under Matt. Councilor report. Matthew. It's got the Pines opening for a full year. No, it was the opening of the Christmas tree, wasn't it?
Oh, right, it was the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
But I thought it was so they would open for the full year, like their first year being.
No, yeah, but the thing was for the first Christmas
tree. Okay.
For the first Christmas there. I attended it too. And the only other one was the Diamond Jubilee should add on metal. Or metal to the, under me, sorry, under Working Bakery, is the Diamond Jubilee medal. I don't know why I suddenly saw things for a change. Usually never see anything. So, sorry guys. So go ahead now. David.
I move approval of the minutes as amended.
Aha. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Is there any unfinished business of the minutes that anyone wants to bring forward from January 24th? Hearing none, we will go to the CAO report. The meeting time, we have Public Works and Bylaw and Policy on March 7th, Committee of the Whole on the 14th, no meeting on the 21st, on the 28th is Council. Bylaw and Policy, we're going to start at 3 p.m. on April 4th.
Every year.
Oh, okay, I just didn't remember.
Yeah, that's grants to organization night.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It was just.
Yep,
Okay.
I know, that's why it's highlighted. So we do that one, we started doing that just to help with the length of that meeting.
Okay. On April the 11th, we have Committee of the Whole. April the 18th is the audit, and April the 25th is Council. Now, the next is the action items from the previous meeting. Was there anything anyone wanted to bring forward? Okay, or ask questions, always should have said. Then there was the update on the capital projects for 22-23. Any questions? All on your budget for most of them. And, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, as you can see, gradually the picture is becoming clearer there. Most of those projects are complete.
But it just seems that we were just under on most of them. It was really nice.
Yeah, no, it's been.
I'd rather see it under than over.
Yep.
Excellent budgeting. And the next was financial report of January 2023. Anyone have any questions or concerns? So can we have someone approve the CAO report as presented?
I'll move the approval of the CAO report.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next are some bylaws, the standing committee items for the bylaw and policy recommendations. The first one is the building bylaw of 2023-001.
So there was one minor change just at the end of it I want to show you.
Okay.
So as you know, in these bylaws, we typically repeal the old bylaw
Yeah.
when past dates.
Yep.
So we just made an addition to that statement. Bring it down here. So we're repealing the old building code bylaw, but we're also repealing the development control and planning application fees bylaw, because as you know, we're developing
That
a new
was
fee policy as
All in
well.
one, yeah.
So this is going to repeal two different bylaws, the fees for the development and planning and the building bylaw. Just I added that one little line.
Okay.
I move to adopt the building bylaw 2023-01.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is the approval of the updated strategic plan.
I move to approve the updated strategic plan.
I second.
Seconder?
I second it.
Any concerns, questions, or anything?
Somebody did.
What was that?
The roof's coming in.
It was a speaker.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is office renovations. And that was for us to move forward with the architects.
So moved.
Seconded.
You want to read the whole thing out?
Move to move, 3.3, move forward with the architects on the tender for the office renovations.
I'll second.
And any discussion, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is the hiring plan, public works laborer.
3.4, move to approve the hiring plan for the public works laborer.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried.
While we're on the subject of hire, how is the process going for the other
Or
Pat's place?
really well. So we've scheduled our first round of interviews, so that'll be done this week. And yeah, we're very hopeful we're going to get a really qualified applicant.
Did we get many apply?
We did. We had less than we've seen, but I think that's across the whole job market over the last couple of years. But we still had lots to choose from.
A tough act to follow.
Tough act to follow.
What is going on?
Or,
I think it must be
I'm
my
going to
fault.
have a heart attack
It
though.
must be my fault.
Yeah, please.
Or if I want to keep you on your toes, I'll just
Yeah. How's it going? Any other questions?
No.
Okay. The next is the committee of the whole recommendations. The first will be the assessment report. So, If someone would,
I move to accept the assessment report as presented.
is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Any concerns or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is the surplus property Rossway.
I'll move to have the staff advise the Department of Public Works that the municipality of Digby is interested in acquiring PID 301-68033 and is situated near Rossway.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is the Southwest African Heritage Dinner.
I move 3.13, move to purchase a table of 10 for the Southwest African Heritage Month Dinner and Dance Gala at the cost of $300.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Any questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next, the Briar Island Coastal Trail Letter of Support.
3.14, move to write a letter for the Briar Island Coastal Trail in support of their application for funding from the Nova Scotia Department of Communities, Culture, Tourism, and Heritage.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
Any concerns, questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Marketing Fee Committee Appointment.
3.15, I move to appoint Warden Gregory as municipal representative on the Marketing Levy Advisory Committee.
Is there a seconder?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is the Yarmouth Ferry.
I move to send a letter to Derek Harvey, Director of Policy and Legislation with the Department of Public Works, with feedback regarding the ferry.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Next is the Bear River and Area Community Health Clinic funding request.
I move to approve $5,000 funding for the Bear River and Area Community Health Clinic.
Is there a seconder?
Seconded.
I do have a couple of questions that I'd like to bring forward. One, will we be getting from them a report on how they spent that $5,000? Or is it the way we sent it out in the...
So traditionally, we do not ask for reports when we
Okay.
send money out, if it's in the motion or if it's
Okay.
added to a motion, but traditionally that is not.
Okay, because when I was looking back, I couldn't see an estimate or anything of what was going in and what was going out, so.
Would you like me to
we're just
amend
given
the motion?
$5,000. Okay,
I can
I
amend
just
it.
wanted to check
Yeah.
it because I felt.
And so how does the amendment, so I amend?
No, I'm not asking for any amendments. I just wanted to check
Okay.
because when I was going back through, I suddenly felt uncomfortable that I felt, but that was just me. So the motion has been made. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is the Dash Letter of Support.
Sorry.
I'll move to send a letter of support of DASH on their mission to obtain funding from the Provincial Community Housing Growth Fund.
Is there a seconder?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is under business items. The first, 4.1, is the tax reduction request due to fire damage. And that was the home in Weymouth.
I move to approve property tax reduction of $126.85 due to fire damage December 12, 2022 on AAN number 00997714, Paula Cromwell, 7344, Highway 340, Weymouth, with the reduction effective December 12, 2022.
Is there a seconder?
Seconded.
Is there any concerns or questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is the electric city request.
What was the request? I forget.
They have asked for a tax exemption for
Oh.
their property. And CAO would like to speak.
So in a favorable, or potentially as long as council feels that way, turn of events, so as you see, the previous owner of that property was the Weymouth Historical Society. So that group already had an exemption for that property, and it hadn't come off yet because this transaction has just gone through. So with a motion, so we normally do these through a bylaw, which requires first reading, second reading. So that's already in the bylaw. If council supports this tonight with a motion, that's the only step required, and we can move forward.
How would I word that motion?
I would so move that
I would so
Electric
move that
City-
the Electric City La Nouvelle France Society is
to have it.
given a tax
Approve the tax.
is continued. To
No,
continue.
to approve a tax exception.
There we
for
go.
that- For that building.
There. Moved.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
Any
It's rough, Dave.
questions or concerns? I will tell you, Hal had been willing to come in, and I said to him, unless council requested it, I didn't see a need.
No.
I just want to let you know what I had done. And I will tell you, they are working so hard.
Right on.
I take my hat off to them. The next is school funding, free stores discussion. David?
How much do we have left?
We have 16,000.
I would like to suggest that we divide that 16,000 amongst the schools of the Digby County for food insecurity.
How does others feel about that? Oh, sorry, you want to use all the money we have, so if anything.
But there's nothing else. I thought, aren't we just? How many days are we from?
Another month.
Another month. So maybe we'll do whatever is left over at the time of the when the tax year's over.
I don't think you can do it that way, David. You at the end of next month.
I know, but then I'd make the motion then or whatever.
Oh, okay, so just hold on.
Just something to.
Yeah, Matthew?
I know what you're trying to do, but I think what we could do is, can we do 500 for them back in December?
Yeah, we did some.
Yeah,
back
for the
in,
free schools with Schools Plus.
I don't mind topping it up for March break. I think we talked.
Yeah,
you
we
mentioned
did talk
in
about March
January. I don't think approving the whole thing. I think what I'd like to see is us is to bring the rest of that money forward to next year to grants and organizations, and for the ones that take the time, have the projects, put the effort in to fill out the forms and make them on time and fill them out correctly, that we can use that money to, start hopefully if we can fulfill some of those asks next year in full. If it's possible, it can't be outrageous, but instead of us sitting around half-halfing it and having all this money left over, I think maybe the past warden got us too much involved in saving money until the last day, but it seems the last few years we seem to have a big amount of money left in January and February, but then we look back and go, we could have probably gave more out to the people who took the time to have these big projects, and we all sat and shorted them a bit. That's the worst way. But you know what I
Okay,
mean?
well,
Forward.
our CEO is next.
So I had 2 points, one to respond to the discussion, and so the agenda item is originally on here from Councillor Mainzer's request in January to be able to discuss funding the free stores before March break is where the agenda item.
I didn't know it was
originated.
specific like that.
So no, it's not specific, but that's just how it. The second, it's certainly not that I'm against that. We would need some time to explore that, the concept that you just proposed, because I believe we have a policy in place, 1% of how that's funded. There's probably a path forward, as always. We would just need some time, even by the next bylaw. We could provide clarity if that's the direction the group goes, but we would just need to.
Jeff just made my point for me. I was going to say it's problematic to roll the money over due to accounting policies.
That's not something you would do that.
And I'd be fine with waiting until the end, and then we I don't want to see this money that could do a lot of good in the community just disappear. And I'd be willing to wait the other month. And why don't maybe, I don't know, talk to the schools a little bit. Maybe to get the school, maybe I'll get my school to request, I don't know, a third of it or a quarter of it.
Well, I think they don't need to make a request if we're all looking at getting some extra money.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't want to start a.
Like,
you know,
okay, yeah.
I don't want to start with $20,000 school fee. That's a lot of, that's a quarter of our grants organization money. So next year when they come, we're going to be looking for $20,000.
And I think they'd be quite happy to get the money.
Right?
I wouldn't mind giving them that much money again next year, actually.
Okay. Sam.
I'll be talking about that in the budget.
I just wanted to also make sure, so again, we can certainly discuss those options for March. I just want to make sure Councillor Manzer had expressed a concern in January to make his motion pre-March break, which if we are looking to give any money to the free stores, which again is normally a separate, smaller discussion, that motion should be made tonight to catch March break. If we were looking to do, we did 400 in the two previous elementary and senior high school donations. So I just want to make sure before we leave that item that if you are looking for a motion tonight or money before March break.
Back in January or whenever we talked about it, did we actually send them some money then?
Yes, we did. We sent them $400 each. Well, in December.
This doesn't go very far.
You had brought up that you'd like to see possibly more money come out for March.
Well, yeah, to cover March break, I didn't know.
So I guess the question is tonight, do you want, because David has sort of referred back right now, do you want to make a motion that we give like 500 to every school for their free lunch program?
I would like to see some money go out to school. I don't know about 14,000 or whatever.
No, but
divide it up.
But I'm just saying.
It's a lot of, it's a big chunk of money all at once to.
But if you said something like 500 per school, and that would include the elementary, right?
Yeah, because I think I'm hearing a conversation where this gets forwarded to March for a further discussion.
Yeah. Okay.
But if we are looking to give money to the free stores for March break, we need to do a motion.
Why don't we give the same amount that we gave previously, because I think that one took into account size a bit, did it?
Yeah, we dropped Digby Neck. Everybody got, all of the schools, including the elementary schools, got 400. Digby Neck got 200.
Yeah, let's do that again.
Or make it 500.
And 250, yeah, that's fine. What would that be? 2,250?
Please make the motion,
Yeah.
that's what you so wish.
Yeah.
All right, you're making it, we give for the free stores 500 per school, Digby Neck getting 250.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Then what we will do, we will talk at our March,
So we want some information on
Yes.
the rolling the money forward, so we'll try and bring that for a bylaw.
I don't know so much rolling the money, well, yes, it's whatever.
Yeah,
you
we'll
think.
clarify
that,
that one, and then we'll have it on the agenda for.
What about me talking to so maybe, I wouldn't mind, like, if we're gonna, if the option's out there, if we're gonna decide either to roll the money through, or, I still wanna, I'd like to do something with food insecurity with the rest of it.
Yeah, but if we pull it forward, we can't do food security with it,
I know,
okay?
I
So
don't
what-
want it rolled
Yeah.
forward.
Okay, but he's gonna check for some things for us, and we're gonna look at it at our bylaw.
I just wonder if we
policy.
should talk to the school a bit about this in regards, if there's a
I-
possibility of some money, or
No, I don't think you should until.
just wait.
Yeah,
I would suggest after the March 7th meeting, there's plenty of time before the council meeting on the 28th.
Okay,
Right, so that's why we're doing that early in March.
put together
To give
something
us
sensible,
time.
if
Uh,
council wishes it.
yeah.
Alright. Actually, I was quite surprised at how involved municipalities were with food insecurity at the sustainability conference. I had no idea. All kinds of money available too, which I had no idea about.
okay, the next is,
This money.
discussion on the February 4th power outages.
Oh,
So I guess I'll give context and then the two REMO members make. So this discussion came up at the REMO meeting last week, and the members of both councils, I believe, were taking it back to their councils. Just have a discussion or consideration around, do we want to write a letter to Nova Scotia Power and potentially the provincial government on the power issues that our two areas in our community experienced that seemed much different than a traditional power outage. I'll let everyone else in the room choose their language on how they describe what happened that Saturday, but it seemed to be timed or coordinated power outages happening between two communities that was pretty unique to this area.
I expect stuff like that in California or Texas, not necessarily here.
Okay, George, did you want to make any comment first?
No, power was okay down home.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have any outages, so we were satisfied with the
We need
power.
to upgrade the grid.
I agree,
Oh, sure.
big time.
Big time. Because we're going, well, I can elaborate all night long, but you know what's coming down the pipe, and if we can't handle that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you had a really cold winter, plus
It's been a
We had a
long
full
winter.
day.
and more heat pumps being installed. Like you got to have be able to handle more power.
And don't forget all these people that have moved. We've had, hundreds of people move into this.
Communities are going to be sharing electricity every other day next winter if we have a bad winter.
You had a bad winter.
The power grid's atrocious. I wonder if there's any role for Terry in discussing that, because one of the things they discussed is at the UNSM is the green, was it the Green Energy Fund and
The
potential FCM one, yeah, and the potential of working with Nova Scotia Power.
Well, that's kind of bad when you have all kinds of.
Okay, we're gonna let Jeff speak, and then I'm gonna speak, and then we'll go back to the next one.
So, Terry was involved in this discussion before tonight to get some advice, and I would suggest there were certainly discussions we were having with staff members within Nova Scotia Power earlier in the fall about the grid at this end that were very positive and very supportive. The provincial government subsequently made some decisions and passed some legislation that we got formal emails kind of terminating those conversations with us in this area.
We hope that we pressure the province.
Their efforts on their core business. So it is challenging. The suggestion I think at this point is kind of the president of Nova Scotia Power and the premier, kind of like everyone is aware of the grid issues, but just if we are sending a letter on it, that kind of heading for the top of both organizations that's where the point is at this point.
Okay, my concern is the community. They keep commenting, when the wind blows sideways, the power's off. If you turn your head and blow on the power line, the power's off. They're upset because they understand in a severe storm, but they don't understand every whip snitch that the power's off, and I agree. The other thing that doesn't help is when they go out and hear that their CEO is making a lot of money and there's been a lot of profit made for their stakeholders, shareholders, and yet the whole infrastructure is falling to pieces. So I firmly agree that we need to send a letter. I want the letter done. I do not want to make anyone upset. I just think they need to know in Southwest Nova, this end of it, how bad it is. And the concerns. I mean, people are on oxygen. People,
Include that, yeah. That's the sort of stuff to include. Of course they know it, but.
So now, Matthew is next, and then we'll go to you.
Well, I just wanted to point out, yeah, you're right, Linda, and the 14 cents that they got this year, or 14% they're getting this year, and also look outside. Look at all the green energy projects. Look at all the stuff that they want us to do. And you look out and you see all the wind turbines. It's starting to look like they just want to purchase our land to do green energy projects, to take all the power and put it in the grid for Truro and Halifax, and people look outside and see those every day going, why is the power keep flickering? What are they out there doing? There's lots of wind blowing. You can see the turbines, but it's not coming back down to this end. They're taking our.
We get the coal energy.
Yeah, we get anything. We have a tidal project out in St. Mary's Bay. That energy's not coming back to Southwest Nova. It's going to Halifax and Truro to be resold to everywhere else. That's where it's going, and that I don't like that. So, and as the constituent.
David?
Yeah, it's atrocious, and it's getting worse, and the population's going up, and it's now reached the state of acute problem. It's bad, so I want to see that letter. Do we write it? I'll make the motion. I move that the staff compose a letter detailing the challenges and difficulties and potential emergencies, I guess. Emergencies that can be exacerbated or caused by the poor power grid. To the Premier and the God King of Nova Scotia Power. Oh, sorry, CEO. I got mixed up there. I was reading about Louis the 16th. So.
Oh, okay. Is there a second to that? Now, George, you never got a chance to speak in this last little bit. Do you have any comments?
No, just that the power grid has to be kind of a priority for somebody.
It is for me.
Are we gonna wait until we have a crisis and say, oh well, it's the same with the health profession. They knew
2015.
No, but 10 or 15 years ago that there was going to be a shortage of nurses or something.
2015?
Yeah.
I'm serious. That was the year we complained.
And they never made it, no plans made until the crunch comes, and then, we're in the situation we are now. So somewhere along the way, somebody's got to take the bull by the horn and make some plans and do something.
And Endless Power doesn't like this endless. You think they'd have a problem with the endless waves of.
I want to let him finish.
I thought he was.
So I support the letter. Yeah. It's just,
Do you think the public relations, when those various named storms blew in and took out the power for weeks, that was a blow to Nova Scotia Power. That was a blow to the sitting government. It made everybody look incompetent. I wouldn't mind the letter including something like, do we really want that to continue to happen? Then we're in danger of that happening without a storm, without a named storm. I don't know. Just from the usage rates going up.
Oh, yeah.
And like you said, the heat pumps. Everybody's got a heat pump.
Yeah.
And they want us to, and they encourage it.
Yeah, they encourage you to get good stuff.
With the backup.
Yeah.
With the backup. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we have two information items under correspondence. One was the Honorable John A. Lohr, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and the other was the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing 911 Cost Recovery Fund. Does anyone have any comments on either of those two letters?
So the extension is the one we talked about that would require for the minimum mandatory planning. So they are asking us to do something before the extension. So that was part of the new regulations. So I think that should be very doable with the PAC committee getting that back here. It's a new requirement that you communicate with neighbors when you're making your neighboring municipalities. So it's just a part of a policy that you send out a letter and give them a chance to comment.
Play nice with the neighbors.
That's it. Just to be aware, obviously the province has gotten feedback on just wherever there's boundaries between two units. It's always an interesting area for PAC rules to interact. So yeah, we're quite happy with the extension. I think they actually gave longer than what was requested just to make sure we can get everything else done in time.
Okay. Any concern? Okay. The next we're going to go to the joint advisory committee minutes reports. The joint RCMP, September 2022, minutes. The next is the PAC January 2023 minutes and the REMO advisory from November 2022 minutes. Has anyone got any comments or questions of any of those committees today? Everybody?
I always like the Remo one. That's all I have to say. For whatever reason, I'm interested.
No, that's
Definitely.
good. All right. If there's no questions, comments, we will look at other council committees, and I don't see anything listed here. All right, we will go on to the joint intermunicipal committee minutes and reports. The first was the dark January 2022 AGM and November 2022 regular minutes. January 2022, Recreation Director, Facility Manager, and Active Living Coordinator reports. Any questions on any of those? Okay. The next was the waste check February 2023 meeting notes. As you saw in the meeting notes, we have agreed to start the process to get rid of black bags. Will be over a year coming. Yes.
Not that I'm against the black bag thing, but you're going to be able to use a white bag, kitchen bag.
A kitchen bag inside your clear bag.
I'm just wondering, by getting rid of the one black bag, is it going to deter people to hoard the garbage inside and not put it on the side of the road?
We don't think so.
Because I mean, I know people put a lot of garbage out more than they should. Sometimes you see 12 bags of black garbage, but at least it's outside by a curb. It's not in the woods, up alongside of your house or inside your house or in somebody else's vacant barn.
But
That's
if anyone's
all.
going to keep it in their house, they're going to keep it in their house, whether it's a clear bag, a black bag, blue bag. They're just going to do that. They're a type
As
of
long as they can get rid of it or
Yeah.
put it something, they're probably gonna do something with it.
We are not, because it's a very low number that does black bags.
Yeah.
And it's going to be over a year. It's not like it's going to happen. It's not going to be in effect until next April. So the people are going to have lots of time.
Mhm.
And those kinds of concerns were brought up
Yep.
and discussed.
That's good.
So thank you for that. Because they were brought up. Okay, then we will go on to outside boards and committees. Nothing, all right. So we will go with councilor district activity reports. Want to go first, David?
Jeez. I'll make it quick. Food banks rocking along. I've completely changed how I'm delivering. It's now set up like a store, and people choose. Everyone seems a lot more happy about it, and it's so much less work for me. The Christians got together and read me the Riot Act. I have to accept help. So they now all come over and help me with the argument that what if I died, got sick, or whatever, what would happen then? So, and then they were actually really happy to see who came and who got help, and I think they were really happy about it. They were really pleased to see, the people that were helping, and so I was glad about that. I'm halfway through writing a proposal to keep the Coast Guard in Westport. I'm going over tomorrow to speak to the Coast Guard members. I got an appointment in the morning. I've been, just to give a quick run through, they want to move the Coast Guard from Westport, and I'm making an argument that it's cheap and simple to keep it in Westport, expensive and complicated to move it. And I'm going to give two separate proposals. One with a property in Irish Town with the lower wharf directly in front of it with a rock break, and the other one is a property immediately adjacent to the ferry wharf. So both of them are large enough houses that they could handle several people living in them, and they would be able to be within meters of the boat. What's problematic is the boat is coming, and it's coming really soon. It's now coming, I believe, next fall, and I want to make sure everything's ready. And Chris Donchemont said that he will have a face-to-face meeting with the topic will be keeping it in Westport, and he will pitch the proposal directly to the minister. I'm hopeful for that. Lots of forums, lots of people in crisis, and you know what I can't get over? There's always a bunch that can be done. And you would think there'd be nothing, and there's always many things. There's lots of programs, there's lots of options, there's lots of resources, but it takes a long time to become familiar with them. Real long time. I'm just starting to. It seems really I've been at it for a dozen years. All right, that's it.
George?
Regular committee meetings, a few phone calls, various stuff I won't get into, but just a few phone calls and stuff to deal with. Also, at Cicero Landing a week ago, there was a thing on Black Heritage. A lady was showing blankets and quilts that she had done. There was at least half an hour steady. She must have had 40 or 50 of them. I don't know where she got the time to do them, but so we were there. That was well attended. There must have been 40, 50 people there. So then the African Heritage Gala on Saturday night at the Pines, and that's about it.
Okay, Matthew?
Excuse me. June 26th, I attended the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipality meetings held at the Westin Hotel.
Whoa. What did the date you say?
January 26th.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to verify.
I was thinking about summer. It's cold out. Man, I gotta change that. February 11th, I attended the Robbie Burns dinner at the Digby Pines. Lots of attendance. It was a great way to help support the Fundy Hospice and Digby General Hospital Auxiliary. I had a FaceTime meeting with a potential doctor for the area. I've been working with Minister Joe Balzer, who has been contacting the health minister in regards on next steps and what we can do to help. I also reached out to Mayor Ben Cleveland regarding helping him find housing for the new doctor in town from Nigeria. Together we were able to find him a home for his wife and 4 children. Also, I had been in talks with Minister Joe Balzer about the next steps for the completion of the Highway 101 series. At this time, I have nothing to share, but there are discussions happening. I've taken a lot of calls about road conditions. I've been reminding people to call 902-245-4090 to voice their concerns to the call center. These calls are collected by the province and used to determine where public works money is best spent. In between committees and meetings and all that, but that's it for this month.
For me, I also was at the Code of Conduct, which was passed. I was to the opening of the African Heritage Month. David, I, and Terry were to the FCM Sustainability Conference.
Forget about that.
Which we will be doing a presentation coming up. I attended the African Heritage Gala. Matthew, what happened to your 2 people? They didn't come.
I have no idea.
Oh. Okay. I was just,
Yeah.
At first we were trying to figure out who it was, and then. I also have met with Jill Balzer twice on some concerns that I've been dealing with her. We also had the opportunity at the African Heritage to speak with the Minister of Heritage and the Associate Minister. Received an award from the Digby. His name is Wayne Provo, and that was really well done. I have known Wayne for over 20 years coming here, and he's always been a great advocate to make sure everything is improving, not just staying stagnant. The minister did announce at the Heritage Gala that the province had already given the group for the Jackpot, I never can say that way, $3 million. So, and different ones spoke, and it was, we we're supposed to start at 6:30, we didn't get started till way after 7. It went a little late. But otherwise, I mean, it was excellent. And the speaker was Juanita Peters, that I haven't seen since the 70s. It was like, oh my, it was when she said something, I suddenly realized who it was. So, which was interesting. I have been meeting with several residents. There has been concerns over various things, like how long does it take for the money to come from the rebates and that type of thing, and should they have gone through the province at the MLA's office or different things. So anyway, I just wanted to make those comments. I had planned on coming down, George, but I ended up storm stayed Friday night.
To the thing at Sassabuda?
Yeah, I ended up storm stayed in Liverpool, so I didn't get back until after, well, it was close to 1, so I didn't try to go down there and go home. On saying that, I believe we are going to be going in camera. Do we need a 5-minute break?
No, before we go on camera, a couple of things.
Okay.
What about on the Barton School? Is that still a go for the summer? Like a start up in the summertime?
The compass?
Yeah. Was that?
So at the January council meeting, I think you'll see in the minutes here, we extended the dates, right? To allow them, I believe the dates were to start this spring and finish, it was 2020, September of 2024?
Yes.
But yeah, we just discussed that in January, so that is still the plan.
Okay, so they'll be starting this spring, in the spring or early summer, hopefully. And then, okay.
Yeah.
And,
Remember, they
and
can
the
be
new
on notice by the
the
government.
new doctor, when's he? Any idea when he's supposed to start?
Not sure.
Nothing has been formally.
Yeah, I don't think there's been a formal announcement. I know we've seen it on social media.
No,
but
I just saw it.
formal
He had been,
announcement of when
picture him and
he
his
will be
family, and
Yeah.
they had been hired. He had been hired, so.
I can't answer that because there's been nothing formal come down to us.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, so do you want a 5-minute recess?
Can we do it quickly? Actually, not have the 5-minute recess. I'm feeling kind of under the weather.
Okay, well then.
I've tested myself twice for COVID, yesterday and the day
So
before.
can we have a motion to go on camera for personal and legal issues?
So,
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm frame-minded, motion carried.